chat to us tonight. A real pleasure to be able to offer this sort of accessibility to the football community across Tasmania, so thanks very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. John, where in your mind is the home of football in Tasmania?
I mean, the home of football has many meanings for me. The home of football is the hubs of participation. It's important to not confuse where the home of football is as against where participation lies, and we have very good representation in 3 regions. The home of football for me is in the junior participation, that we have nearly 9,000 members playing week in, week out, and what we can also bring to them to keep them in the game. So the home of football are the hubs like Merecroft, like Churchill Park, like the Crossroads are here, and like on the eastern region where they have a number of hubs where there's lots of kids playing. So the home of football to me isn't just one area. The home of football is encompassing of the entire playing population. More
specifically then, I guess I'll rephrase it, the home of football in terms of KG5 and where Football Federation Tasmania currently holds its offices, and where we see the majority of the big games played at a state level and certainly at a higher senior level. Will we see that ground developed? We know there are things coming later this year. Will that be an artificial pitch, and can you give us a bit more detail about that?
Yeah, it's a process that's been undertaken, led by Andrew Wilkie, who has set aside obviously the KG5 precinct, which has been bubbling away now since I've been here basically, and it was originally driven by some of the stakeholders, but certainly the shift moved to the funding going to Glenorchy City Council to administer. So it's I guess a tremendous boost for the area. The sole purpose of the area is to drive people to Glenorchy, to the precinct that lays between the sporting fields and the town. And in that is the development of some of the facilities around that, which is work around the AFL and cricket facilities, work around the soccer pitch, work around the Transport Museum, the YMCA Club, and to relocate the Migrant Resource Centre into there, so they've got a thriving office and a hub of activity that drives people back into the area. In terms of what was available, we went through the necessary consultation with the consulting company, which was led by Glenorchy City Council, and we weren't entirely happy with what football was getting out of that. We certainly went back to Andrew Wilkie, who worked very hard then to ensure that football was being looked after in the process. And I guess what the commitment of funding is for a surface upgrade. We're hamstrung a little in what we can do at KG5, as many clubs are, but we can use it only 6 months of the year. We can any time for 5 to 7 matches a week, which doesn't span a lot. And if you are using it 7 times a week, the facility can be quite downtrodden very quickly. So we need to preserve that as an area that we can have feature matches, Premier League football, and then matches we bring from interstate teams and A-League teams. In terms of where it's at the moment is we've committed that there'll be a surface upgrade, and it'll be an all-weather surface. Where that lies yet is still to be decided. We're presenting a couple of cases to council, but ultimately the decision's going to lay with Glenorchy City Council. Bear in mind we go to them quite often and say another week called off for junior football, and I guess we cry poor in the area facilities, and we cry poor in the area facilities that are able to be used 12 months of the year. So with that in mind, we need a surface that's able to increase participation and usage and be available 12 months of the year. So at the moment it's all weather. That can mean grass, that can mean artificial. So that decision will ultimately lie with council as the administrator of the funds.